let's consider how to determine the height of a plane given a time in minutes using function notation. Determine the height of the plane at 2 minutes using your function. Substitute 2 for every time that you see. Then simplify the function. Blah, blah, blah. Put in 2. What kind of math did they do with that 1800 is right next to the 2? Multiply. Okay? This little 2 is not a multiply, it's just noting something. You will, at this point, not need a ruler, but you will need a calculator. So send one person up.
That one girl can...
Send one person up to bring back your rulers, and whoever has a phone, get out your phone. All we're doing is multiplying.
No, we're multiplying.
Baby, baby.
A lot of improvising.
Oh, that was right there.
It's like how we do if I get 21.
Okay. I'm going to fast forward on down to number 6. Okay. Using function notation in this situation, one thing to remember, and maybe I'm going to write it up here. Height as a function of time equals 1800t. Okay, I'm going to remind myself, it's up there small at the top of the page, but I'm going to make it big. They're wanting us to find the height at different times. The way this works in function notation, if I have h of 3, I go ahead and go 1800, and wherever there's a t, I'm replacing it with a 3. So notice that this t got replaced with a 3. So this t is getting replaced with a 3. On this side, this is just a notation, so I know it's height at time 3. It's not a number I got to divide or multiply. It's just a note to myself. What time is it? On this side, 1800 times is by 3, and we've actually done that one already, yes?
Yeah.
What is that when we multiply?
48.
4800. That's going to be the answer that they're looking for in this problem. B is where the calculator is going to come in handy. The way it's written is h of 3.75. What that means in our situation is that plane is moving continuously. So if it's moving at 3 minutes, it's also moving at 3 3/4 minutes. But how high is it? Maybe something very important has to happen at a certain fraction of the time. Okay? So now I'm going to go 1800. And where I used to have a t, I'm going to multiply. But this time I'm substituting in a new time, 3.75. This is kind of big math, but you have big electronic devices that can do it for you. What happens when we multiply?
You get the answer.
And what's the answer? Excuse me? Okay, so those looked like ugly numbers, a little bit ugly numbers, but your calculator knew what to do with them. This stands for a time that's between 3 and 4 minutes. This stands for a height that is over 4,800, but not as high as it is in 4 minutes. Okay, you guys go ahead and do C and D. Oh, D is interesting in terms of a plane. We'll talk about that in a minute. But go ahead and do the multiply. Shouldn't take too long.
It's in storage.
Are you ahead of me? Have you already done it?
No.
Okay, doing these two. Set up the function with the new time they're giving you, please. Show what it looks like on paper.
I have a friend who lives in Right, you just is it the same thing right here?
Do an exact same pattern that we did right here. So right here, you're gonna put 1800. Whole 5 points. Yes. Put an equals right here. So you'll. Alright, looking good. Looking
That's
good.
mine. No. Alright, you get your thing.
Looking good. Nice. That's right. Do the
Bravo,
second one.
bravo.
Yes, that's the last one.
What? My phone dropped. I did the first one. 800.
Okay.
93.
Okay, take a look up this way. If you can hear me, snap once. If you can hear me, snap twice. Perfect. H of 5.1, what did we get for an answer?
9,800.
You're wrong there.
Like this? Is that what you meant, Brody?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And what do we get for an answer, Jerry?
Negative 7,200.
Now, in terms of a plane, what does that mean? It's underground, maybe below sea level, but that's very far below
It's the
sea
new
level.
Titanic.
That guy sank. Well, I hope, nobody we love was on that plane, but it seemed weird that they give us a negative in the plane situation. Okay, next page.
No,
I know, that's a
That's
sad,
not funny.
sad, bad joke. Here we go. Now consider. Brody, can you read at the top of page 81?
Now let's consider how to determine the number of minutes the plane has been flying. The input value given the height in feet, the output value uses function notation.
Okay, what if they tell you how high it is? And they say, how long has it been flying to get there? That's kind of the opposite of what we've been doing, okay? So what they're doing right here, hello, is instead of h of t, we don't know the time. Last time we were substituting in something for time. This time we know the height or the output value. That's getting replaced where that h of t stood, okay? So if I take a look down here at number 2, again my function is h of t, all right? This time we have an information that's going to replace that whole thing. This represents height. And they're telling us the height. What we need to find out is what was the time that it took to get to that height. Here's how it sets up. 5400 feet equals the height after it's been going for a certain unknown time. How do we find out what t is?
It's the time.
Denied.
It's the time, but what kind of math?
You gotta divide.
We gotta divide both sides. And it's the opposite of what we were doing before. Calculators, what do we get? T equals
4
4 what?
minutes.
Minutes. Can I please go ahead and do B, C, and D? Set up the problem and use your calculators to find the time. I'm going to set up B in case you were still getting it. Again, this is height. It replaces h of t. T we don't know, and that's what we need to find.
I am not in the mood.
Again, calculators are your friends. Good. I'm seeing people carefully setting up their problems. Yes.
No, hi.
Okay, I want to see it all set up because I want to be able to give you partial credit on tests if you get a small mistake wrong. Right? So I know this was kind of the same thing over and over, but please show the work, all right?
I don't trust you.
Wait, D?
That's 2.5.
Good. 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 Check around. Do your times match?
Yes,
You
they
agree?
Power T.
Okay, dude, this chick always texts me. You should worry about the fuck every single day. I don't want to. But they're away. I was expecting you to know. You should do
Horrible.
You should.
Okay. I think we're ready. B. Martine, what do you get for time on B?
T equals
5 minutes, thank you. C.
Oh, I'll do it.
Yes, Sam A.
You know,
I did
called
3,150 divided by 1,800.
I like this.
She just wants to
In
answer.
5 minutes.
What?
I got 1.75.
1.75 minutes.
Can I do D? I like to do
Hold on. I think we're okay. Go ahead, Brody.
Okay. 4,500. Right? Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
2.5. Right? That's what T equals.
Okay, great. 2.5. Do we agree with Brody?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, flip the page. It's late in the day. We don't want to read that, right? But here's a spot that's important to understand. Intersection point. Hey, shh, I'll tell you when it's over. Right now it's not. Intersection point. What is it? What's an intersection?
Where the X
Where
and
two lines
Y
meet.
intersect.
Where two lines meet. One way to solve the kind of problem you were just looking at is math with your calculator. Another way to solve it is graphing. Notice this line right here. What does that line represent?
The
X.
constant X line.
It's not a constant x, it is a constant line, but what is it constant right there? What, the thing that I just made yellow, what does it represent? Y equals 7200. So if you have a problem that looks like this, hello, or too much, hold it together. 7,200 equals 1,800 t. If we're comparing those two things, one way to solve a problem where you have a graph is look at what does that mean for y and what does this mean. Here's the graph that we've been working with. That's 1,800 t. Here's the graph of what y looks like at 7,200. Okay? What do we have right here is the intersection point, and what they're trying to show you is this 7200. Look down from there. What number is right below that intersection point? 4. So if we know the time or the height, we can intersect it to find the time. Okay, maybe we're beyond what our brain power can handle today. All right, so pack up books. Go ahead and put books on up there.
Now that I know.
We probably could have fast forwarded to that. All right, they can figure it out.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
Okay, you still have like 4 minutes. Pull out your homework packet, please.
No recess.
Christian, why am I waiting?
What was that thing?
I will make sure you're not late, but you're not supposed to be early either.
Dang it.
The only thing I've come on is this.
Okay, so let's see. Determine the slope. Now, describe the graph as increasing, decreasing, horizontal, or vertical. Here's what it needs to know. Increasing happens when you have a positive slope. Decreasing happens when you have a negative slope. And horizontal is when 0 is on top of something like 6. Vertical happens when when 0 is on the bottom of something like 6. Okay, so your slopes start out as a ratio. 0 on top is a horizontal line, 0 on the bottom is a vertical line, otherwise your slope is positive and negative. And I did it by taking that, subtract that, 5 minus 3 over that, subtract that, minus 1 minus a negative 2. Right? What happens when you go 5 minus 2? What happens when you got a negative minus a negative? Right here,
Give me my freaking phone right now.
2 plus negative 1.
Seriously, give me my phone.
So you get a slope of 2, at least on those points, you should probably check it by doing something else. And if it's positive, what are we going to say?
We have to do this.
Well, I didn't give you a back. So,
This one, you want to do that.
yes.
And with
Okay. Pretty much all of those, like, the barking one?
Yeah.
No, but I've seen it around here. My soccer team. How's it going?
I don't have that in my phone.
Go for the short goalie. Go for Billy.
Why are they legs?
Dude, my legs are that bad. My arms feel like
congratulations, Sam. He's gonna have a good night tonight.
I did it.
Have a good day.